A very good evening to all my dear students. We all have been eagerly waiting for today's session, and I know the excitement is mutual on the other side as well. You have been learning so many chapters of Companies Act now, and today we'll be starting with chapter number 5, that is acceptance of deposits. Good evening, Ashutosh, Lahari, Nanda, Pranav, Nanda Gopal, Hardik, Aisha, Deepak, all of you. Good evening, children. So I was happy to see your good evening wishes even before we begin the session. So I know you are very excited for today's session. Good evening, Nancy, Nistala, all the students who are there with us on the portal also. Saundarya, all of you, Pallavi, those who have joined. All right. So I hope you have revised. The last where we met was prospectus, and you must have done share capital and debentures also by now. So today we are going to start with acceptance of deposits. So children, again, it's a very small chapter. Like we would discuss the provisions in prospectus, share capital and debentures. It was very, very huge. But deposits and registration of charges are little bit smaller chapters when we compare them to the share capital and prospectus. So what is expected from my dear students when teacher is teaching you these kind of small topics? Make notes, ensure that everything you are doing. And okay, no worries, Miss Maruju. You can refer to the YouTube videos if you have missed any of the previous sessions. Yes, Pranav, definitely you will get all the notes as well. So what I was telling you that these kind of chapters, if you are listening to the teachers regularly and you're making small notes along with that and you're referring to the ICAI module as well, so you tend to learn then and there the chapter as well. So we'll try to ensure that whatever we are doing today, we'll try maximum to retain and learn also, because I have few questions for you so that we understand the concept and then we revise the questions also so that it is well learned in the class itself. So let's begin today's session, that is acceptance of deposits, chapter number 5, Companies Act. Just open it for all of you. So this is acceptance of deposits. What is the chapter overview about? Now, what is the word deposits? Before we even start this chapter, let us understand what is the need of deposit. Deposit is a kind of a borrowing that the company is asking from outsiders. So is it just the outsiders or is it the members also? So I wanted to begin the session by making you a little bit revision of the previous sessions also so that you can connect why there is a need of deposit. So if you remember that when we understand the chapter of prospectus, a company was going out to the public asking for money. So there were different methods: initial public offer, further public offer, IPO, FPO, OFS. And what was the method of raising capital for a private company? Private company could only go for the private placement. So this was the initial way when the company started. In case of a public company, it went out and on the basis of prospectus, it requested the people to, yes, Hardik, absolutely. Section 42 read with Rule 14. That means you are revising your sections also very well. So that's wonderful. So that is exclusively for private company. So similarly, now this was the need of satisfying of the capital, that we go to the public and we request and they give us money and we give them shares in return. Okay, that was subscriptions, that was application money being received and we were allotting the shares. Remember, we had the contract with the investors and then they became the shareholders in our company. Still, the company needs money. What does the company do? Company goes to bank also. It asks for the borrowings, loans. What kind of loans we take from the bank? Say, for example, today, if I need a loan from bank, I will take the loan and I might have to give certain kind of security in exchange of that. Because these are the terms which we'll be using in these chapters today. So it is better you understand what are the basic meanings of these kind of words. So say, for example, I went to bank and I took a loan of 10 lakh rupees for buying a new car. Now, bank is giving me 10 lakh rupees. Bank also needs certain security that tomorrow, Harleen ma'am, if you fail to pay back the loan to the bank, I have some asset of yours so that I can sell off that asset and bank can recover the money. Now, we have to make sure that the security that we are giving to the bank should be more than the value of the loan that we have taken. Obviously, then only it will be justified. Now, if I'm taking 10 lakh loans and I'm just giving 1 lakh rupee asset to the bank, what is the value then? Then the value has to be more than the amount of the loan that the bank has given. So these are the kind of securities that we give, the loans that we take. So understanding from the perspective of company will now be having additional borrowings also. Once it has raised the money, it needs certain funds, it takes loans from the bank, it takes certain deposits as well. So this is just an introduction of the chapter deposits. So what is deposits all about? Deposits is a kind of a borrowing that we request from the public or from the members. Similarly, the company can either go to its members that please give me some more money. I need money for my business, for expansion, or it can also take the loans from the banks. Now, a kind of a borrowing. So deposit is a word which is used, a kind of a borrowing. Any receipt which the company is receiving is kind of a deposit. So in the first overview of the chapter, we need to understand in detail what actually is the meaning of the word deposits. There can be number of ways the company is receiving money, either from the bank, taking loans. A director might be giving certain kind of money to a company. Is it a deposit or it is not a deposit? A promoter might be giving the money to the company. Is it a deposit or not a deposit? So there is a very inclusive definition of deposits. So when I say inclusive, means there can be any more things that can be included as a part of deposit or not as a part of deposit. So today we are going to cover largely the definition of deposits, what kind of borrowings and what kind of receipt of money that the company is taking will be considered as deposits. Their prohibition on acceptance, section 73. So this chapter involves sections 73 to 76A. But before starting with section 73, we'll be doing section 2, clause 31, which gives the exclusive definition of the word deposit. So we'll be doing deposits and the amounts which are not considered as deposits as given in the rule number 2. So today's part will be largely based on what is a deposit and what all is not a deposit, because that is your first part of the session, which includes so many things. There are 16 items that we'll be discussing one by one, each and every item, along with various examples and the question and answer, so that you get a conceptual clarity of what kind of thing is considered as a deposit and what is not a deposit. After that, this chapter has section 73, 74, 76, and 76A. 73 will be talking about what kind of deposits we can accept from members. It says prohibition on acceptance. You cannot accept the deposits unless you follow the manner which is provided in this act. So this chapter, this act will, Companies Act 2013, chapter number 5 will provide you what are the manner, whether you have to pass an OR, what kind of circular has to be given to the members, what are the details that will be mentioned. Each and everything as written under provisions of section 73 needs to be followed whenever you need to accept the deposits from the members. And section 76, corresponding section. So when we do section 73, we'll be understanding section 76 also, because they're very interrelated. So when I told you it's a very small chapter, it's a very repetitive kind of chapter also. You'll feel, ma'am, you're saying the same provisions, those you mentioned in section 73 will be coming up somewhere in section 76 also. Because in section 76, you're going to the public and asking for money. Section 74 will tell you how the repayment of deposits have to be made. You will be maintaining your deposit repayment reserve, and the way we have created a trustee for debentures. So the last chapter that you would have studied under section 72, you would have ended it with debentures. So similar kind of debenture trustee provisions will be arising over here also in section 74 when we understand about the repayment of deposits. So repayment of deposits in itself makes you clear that deposit is a kind of a borrowing that we are taking and we have to repay it. It is a kind of a loan that you have taken, money borrowing that you have taken, and you have to repay it, and also the interest on the same has to be paid. And section 76A exclusively talks about the punishment in case of any contravention done on these sections. All right, so let's begin with the definition. Section 2, clause 31 defines what is the meaning of the term deposit. So deposit includes any receipt of money by way of deposit or loan or in any form by a company. So it is itself, the word deposit is being coming as a part of the definition also. Can you see? It includes any receipt of money by way of deposit or loan. So means deposit is money received as a deposit or loan. So what is this word deposit, ma'am? They have not clarified very detailed. They have not actually told you what is a deposit. They're just telling you that it is a kind of a money that any money received by a company will be deposit. But it does not include those categories of amount as prescribed in consultation with RBI. Now, this is where the interesting things start. So whatever, there is a big list of the things, whatever amounts RBI will tell that this is not a part of deposit, that will not be deposit. All right. So what are the features of deposit? The definition of deposit is an inclusive one. What is the meaning of the word inclusive? When I say exclusive, so that means this is something which is very specific. This is the only thing that can happen. But when we use the word inclusive, means many more things can be included in it. It means it's an open thing. You can include much more things in it. So it's an inclusive definition. There are few things which are deposits, and there is a negative list that we'll be understanding, 16 items that is not a deposit. That's why it is said that the definition of deposits is an inclusive one. Very good. Those who are answering side by side, Praveen, Hardik, Pallavi, excellent. Okay, now pay attention to what I'm telling you. So it includes any money by way of deposit or loan or in any other form. If you ask me, ma'am, we have to learn this definition. It is very important that you learn the definition. And this one section, I would want you to learn because examiner gives you straightforward questions that this is the case study. Now you have to tell whether it is a deposit or it is not a deposit. And the answer gets very impressive when you start writing with the answer according to section 2, clause 31 of the Companies Act, the term deposit means this. So you're beautifully giving the definition along with the section because that is the need of the answer. That is the requirement over there. The question specifically is asking you about whether it is a deposit or not. So these kind of sections, and it is a very small chapter. Section 73, 76, 76A, only 3-4 sections are there. So I would want you to learn the sections and roll number 2 as well, which gives a list of the things which are not deposits. So it includes any money received by deposit or loan or in any other form. Repayment of deposit is time bound. Now you have taken the money from the public, you have requested for the borrowings from the public, you have to repay it. All right. So it is a time bound. After certain time, this deposit has to be, because public's money is involved over here, members' money is involved over here. You have to repay this money. Deposits can be secured or unsecured. I told you before starting the session that a security is given. For example, I was buying a house, I gave the security. I was buying a car, I gave the security of the amount more than the amount of loan that I've taken. Similarly, the deposits can either be secured, some security has to be given, or it can be unsecured also. Means no security has been given. They have to be repaid without any security. Now comes the very interesting part. This is something which we'll be understanding in section 73 and 76 as well. Private company can accept deposits from its members only. Public company can accept the deposits from members and also from the public. So there are 3 categories of companies, children. One is eligible public company and another is a private company. So eligible public company can accept the deposits. So if I talk first about the eligible public company. So there is a public company which can accept the deposits from members and public. First, we have to understand both public and private companies can accept the deposits from the members, whether it is public company and private companies. Both can take deposits from its members. There is no problem in taking the deposits from its members. Your members, your company, feel free. But a public company, only an eligible public company can accept deposits from public also. So can private company accept deposits from public? Yes or no? Please answer me. No is the correct answer. Beautifully. Everyone is answering quickly. That's wonderful. And what about the students over here? Very nice. Good. All of you have answered it correctly over here also. Yes, Nistala, Shravneen, inclusive, which is not exhausted. That's correct. Joya, Bala Murugan, all of you are correct. Good evening, Miss BB, Nancy, all of you. Joya, Praveen. Okay. So public company and private company both can take deposits from members, and eligible public company can only take the deposits from the public. So what is this eligible company? There are certain parameters that we'll be understanding in this chapter. What is the limit of turnover? What is the limit of paid up share capital? They need to pass a special resolution needs to be filed with the ROC that yes, we are the eligible public companies and we are only allowed to take the deposits from the public. Otherwise, both the companies can only take the deposits from the members. Okay. Private company, Anil Kumar, private company can only go for private placement, remember. So you are prohibited from inviting for the shares subscribing. Also, you cannot go for subscription of shares to the public. And being a private company, you cannot even accept the deposits from the public. All right. So let's move ahead. So this is the exhaustive list that we are going to do today, amounts which are not considered as deposits, rule 2. So let's begin. The first 3 parts we'll be doing, and then we will be referring to the study material also so that we don't miss a single thing, a single word from module as well. Yes, that's correct, Hardik. It is written in the definition of private company also. Very good. Okay. Any amount received from the central government or state government. Now, if government is giving, now we have started with the list of the things which are not considered as deposits. So the first thing in this is any amount received from central government or state government or any other source whose repayment is guaranteed by central or state government. So say, for example, I am a company ABC Limited. There is a company ABC Limited and it received money from, say, for example, it is in Maharashtra and it has received money from Maharashtra government, that is from state government. Money has been received by ABC Limited. Will this money be called deposit? Yes or no? Can we say that any money which we have received from Maharashtra government, will it be considered as deposit? Answer is no, ma'am, it is not a deposit because any money that you're receiving from central or state government is never a deposit. Even if guarantee has been given. Okay, now let's take another example. You have received money from a person, from an outsider, and government has given the guarantee, that government is giving guarantee that this company ABC Limited will definitely repay this money. Guarantee has been given by government that ABC Limited will repay this money. Now, will it be considered as deposit? No, this will not be considered as deposit because where money is either received from the central government, then also it is not a deposit. Money received from the state government, then also it is not a deposit. If any guarantee has been given by the government that this company will repay all the amounts, then also that the amount that the company has received will not be considered as deposit. Very good. Thank you so much, Mahi. I'm so happy to read your comment and it's okay. Don't worry. You can enjoy today's session and I will be here with you for next session also. Okay. Money in case deposited by government and repayment guarantee. Yes, Anirudh, in that case also any money given by the government, repayment guarantee, both the things, it will not be considered as deposit. Okay. Very good. All of those who have given the correct answer, Ashutosh, Praveen, Lahari, Rachna, Pallavi, Nayan, all of you are correct children. So many students, so don't expect me to take the names of all. I'll be asking you questions in between, then I will try to take your names, okay? All right. So any amount received from the government. Another thing also I wanted to explain you over here is any amount from local authority or a statutory authority constituted under the Act of Parliament or state legislature. So any magistrate, any other kind of government authorities also, any amount received from them will not be considered as deposit. Now the second part, any amount received from foreign governments. So the first part is you can write down besides the notes, Indian government. We were talking about our local government, central government, state government, our own ministries, our own authorities, any guarantee given by the government. So we were talking about Indian government. Now, second point, we're talking about foreign government. Any amount received from foreign government, international banks. So you have taken the money from international or foreign banks. Multilateral financial institutions. These are the big world finance banks which are trying to provide financial assistance to different organizations all over the world. Or the foreign government's own development financial institutions, the financial institutions which are owned by foreign government. All right. Foreign export credit agencies, like you have Exim Bank, Export Import Bank. ECGC is providing export credits agencies over here, which help you to provide assistance for the export. Similarly, you have foreign export credit agencies. Foreign collaborators. You have collaborators means with whom you have joined hands and you're working together. Foreign collaborators. Foreign body corporates. What is foreign body corporate? Foreign companies from which you're taking money. Foreign citizens. Foreign citizens. You have a friend who is residing in USA. He's a foreigner. He's a foreign citizen. He's sending you certain money. You are having a company and your friend, Mr. John from USA, has sent you certain money. Will you consider that money as a deposit for your company? The answer is no. Foreign authorities or person resident outside India. Any receipt of such kind of funds from where what you have to see in exam, the word foreign. Foreign dhoond lena, bas that's it. Whether it is foreign bodies, foreign citizen, foreign persons resident outside India, foreign development financial institutions, foreign international banks, whatever it is, the word foreign is written, it will not be considered as deposit. This Companies Act deposit chapter is not applicable to them. Why, ma'am? What is the reason we are receiving money from foreign? Because these kind of receipt of funds are covered under the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. FEMA rules will be applicable. Law says, don't worry, don't put this under deposits. We have another separate act, FEMA Act. We'll try to grab all these provisions over there. So any amount coming from the foreign authorities, what act is applicable to them? FEMA provisions, that is FEMA Act 1999 will be applicable. Very good. All right. All those who have written in the comments also, they have understood. Great. So central government, state government, no, it is not a deposit. Guarantee given by central government, state government, act of parliament, state legislature, not a deposit. Anything received, any money received from foreign governments or foreign authorities or foreign collaborators, not deposit because FEMA is applicable to them. Any amount received as a loan or facility from any banking company or State Bank of India, subsidiary banks like NABARD, CIDB, all these kind of banks, cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are very small banks for money lending. All right. So these kind of banks, public financial institutions. What are public financial institutions? Remember CA Foundation, when you have done the definitions under the Companies Act, you have done these definitions of public financial institutions where 51% of the shareholding is held by central or state government. So again, these kind of banks, any banking company, so any loan has been taken from any banking company by a company, it is not covered under the heading of deposits. State Bank of India is giving you a loan. So there is a company ABC Limited. It has received a loan facility from State Bank of India or maybe from its subsidiary bank. Will you call it as a deposit? Yes or no? So the answer is no. Yes, Ms. Moruji, it will not be considered as deposit. Any guarantee given by foreign government will also not be considered as deposit because all the foreign authorities, they are covered under the rules of FEMA. FEMA in itself has elaborative rules and regulations which will help them covering all these provisions of the foreign receipts. Clear ho gaya? Central government, state government, foreign government, and any loans and facilities from the banking company. So here we are talking about different institutions from where we are receiving money will not be considered as deposits. First three categories are absolutely clear. Fourth category is also related to the first three only. It says amount received against the issue of commercial paper or any other instrument according to the notifications given by the Reserve Bank of India. So it says now what is it talking about? Let me just see my pen over here. Yes. So it says, as per the directions of Reserve Bank of India, any amount received, so you have taken the money in the form of commercial papers. It is a kind of pro note. What do you understand by that is promissory note, where a company promises to repay the money So if I put my hand like this while explaining, this AI tries to show my hand rhythm. Okay. So promissory note means where the company is saying that okay, I promise to repay the money after 6 months. So these kind of promissory notes, commercial papers will not be considered as deposits provided they are issued as per the notifications and guidelines of Reserve Bank of India. Clear? So what is the fourth number? Commercial paper. What will be written in the exam? Amount has been received against the issue of commercial paper. Will it be considered as deposit? No, ma'am, it will not be considered as deposit, provided this amount has been received as per the guidelines and notifications issued by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. This much line you will have to write it. You have to give them some content also in the answer. You cannot simply say yes or no. So you have to learn it. There is no other choice. You have to learn all these points by heart, and we'll try to learn them today in itself in the class. Praveen is saying banks are holding not considered as deposit. Definitely, yes. Both the companies, if they're holding 51% stake, public financial institution. Yes, Praveen, your question that you have written in the chat box, the answer is yes. It will not be a deposit. All right. Okay. Any amount received by a company from any other company. Now, what is the meaning of this? By a company from any other company. There is a company, Reliance, and it has taken certain financial assistance from which company? From TCS. If any financial assistance has been taken by Reliance from TCS, or TCS is taking any financial assistance from Reliance, any help is being given, any loan is being given by one company to another company, ma'am, this seems like a loan. Why this is not a deposit? Because this is known as intercorporate loans. Intercorporate loans, they are not deposits. Intercorporate loans are not covered under deposits because they have their own provisions. Intercorporate loans, when you go into CA finals and further studies of this Companies Act chapters, intercorporate loans are exclusively covered under some other provisions. So when one company is taking a loan or one company is taking money from another company, then this kind of intercorporate loans is not covered as deposit. So examiner can give you, there is a company ABC Limited, it has another subsidiary company or another company which is operating maybe in different city, or any other companies, say, like we have taken the example of Reliance is taking money from Godrej, or any other name of companies, they're taking money from each other. Will it be considered as a deposit? So what will you write, children? You will give the definition of deposit, section 2, clause 31. This is what the deposits definition says. The definition of deposit is an inclusive one. There are certain list of items which are not included as a part of deposit. One of those items says that any amount received by a company from another company is not a deposit. Therefore, this amount received by Reliance from TCS will not be considered as deposit. You have to write like this. You cannot simply write yes or no in the exam. All right, let me see those who are here with us are also understanding. Okay, good. Now comes something which has to be understood, plus it is the next provision is kind of the test of yours also. Any amount received pursuant to an offer made subscription to any security, including share application money. So we don't have to read much of the contents. We just understand what is share application money. So what was the content when we understood about the share application money? So you went with the IPO, you went to the public, they subscribed for your shares, you have received the share application money. Remember all the provisions that we have done in section 39, 40, 41, 42, or everything that we have previously done. Now you have received the share application money. What is the job of the company? Company will allot the securities within how many days? Within how many days of receiving share application money, you have to allot the securities. Come on, give me the answer. 60 days, Anirudh. Hardik is saying 30 days. Hardik forgot. He has not revised his lessons. So when you have received the share, Ashutosh, good. Manvi, Sai Charan. Anil Kumar is saying 1 week. Anil, you are not revising. Abhishek, Neha, 60 days. Everyone is correct who have written 60 days. Absolutely correct. So after that means you're not listening carefully, children. Tambeshwari, good. So after receiving share application money, what is the duty of the company? Within 60 days of receiving the share application money, the shares have to be allotted to the investors. And what was the provision, children? If you have not allotted the securities, then within how many days the company needs to refund the money? Tell me. If you have not allotted the securities, very good, very good, very good. All of you have answered this correctly. So 60 days after receiving the share application money, remember that flowchart that we have done in the class. After receiving share application money, within 60 days, you have to allot the securities. And if you have not allotted the securities, the next arrow was next 15 days, you shall refund the money. So 60 days are over. Now, within next 15 days, you need to refund back the money. So 60 days are over. And even if after 15 days, you have not refunded that money, so 60 plus 15 is 75, then from the 76th day, this share application money that you have received will be considered as deposit. If you have not refunded the money and you have not allotted the securities, neither you have refunded the money, then from the 76th day, this share application money will be treated as deposit. Otherwise, any amount received as share application money is not a deposit. What is the general rule? You receive the share application money, it is not deposit because you're going to allot the securities in exchange of that. You did not allot the securities, then law says within 15 days, return the money in the same bank account. You did not return the money, now 76th day, this will be treated as deposit. This much is clear, everyone. If the securities for which the application money or advance has been received cannot be allotted in 60 days, such application money is not refunded to the subscribers also in 15 days, then this will be treated as deposit under these rules. Now provisions of section 73 to 76A will become applicable to this amount which is lying with us as the share application money. This is the first part of point number 6. Second part of point number 6. Any adjustment of the amount for any other purpose will not be treated as refund. What is the meaning of this? I have a question also in this class for you. You will be understanding it with the help of a question also. Very good. Pallavi is telling us the amount percentage of interest also. Okay. Now here we are not discussing about the interest. Here we are simply talking about whether it is a deposit, when it is a deposit and when it is not a deposit. Okay. Any adjustment of the amount. So you are a shareholder, you are an investor, you have given money to the company. Say for example, 1 lakh rupees have been given to the company. Deposit received by a person acceptable. Nistala Shravani, 45 days was not correct. Bacha, it is 60 days allotment and then within 15 days you have to return the money if you have not allotted the security. Such kind of deposit that you are receiving as share application money is not a deposit. Okay, I hope it's clear, Ms. Talan. Okay, so you are an investor and you have given rupees 1 lakh as the share application money to my company. And also you are my supplier who has been supplying me goods and I had to pay you 1 lakh rupees. Now, I did not allot the securities, neither I refund your money. And I thought, okay, this supplier, Mr. A, who has given me the share application money, I will refund this money and I will use it as the payment of my own money also. I am trying to adjust the dues. Say, for example, I had to receive from you and now I've adjusted because this is a receipt now, why I'm paying you back. I've received 1 lakh and something was already due from your side and now I'm adjusting that money against those dues. Law says if any kind of adjustment you are making now other than the refund, it will not be treated as refund of money. You have to refund this money back. Please keep your business out of this share application money thing. You have any other adjustment, any dues acceptance or adjustment to be done, that you have to do separately. This share application money cannot be adjusted against. Remember, we have done this. Share application money has only 2 purposes. Either go for allotment of securities or refund the money. You cannot use it for any other purpose. So if you try to use it for any other purpose, it will not be treated as refund of money. Okay, so that means you have considered it as a deposit. You have not refunded the money. You have neither allotted the security. So you cannot use it for any other purpose. Okay. Now, let's move to the next one. I hope this share application money, everyone is crystal clear because you have questions on this and you have to understand it completely. See, Anirudh is point number 6 again, ma'am. What you did not understand, Anirudh, I will make you revise in a while. Wait, let me just complete 7th and 8th and then we'll revise these and then we'll take a break. Okay? Any amount received from a person who at the time of receipt of the amount was a director of the company or a relative of the director of a private company. Where did it go? Yes. Now, what is happening? Now, you are a company, ABC Limited. You're a company, ABC Limited, and it says money taken from director is not a deposit. And you are a company, ABC Private Limited. Money taken from director or, please tell me what has to come over here. Money taken from a director of a public company is not a deposit. In case of a private company, do I need to include anything else? Very good. Good children. Director, money taken from a director or a relative is a deposit or not a deposit? Please tell me, children. Is not a deposit. So ABC Limited is a public company. Any money public company takes from a director will not be considered as a deposit, and private company taking any money from its director. Good, Abhishek, Rachna, Niketana. Very good. It is not a deposit. So can we conclude something from this before we move further? Can you conclude something? The word relative has been used in case of private limited only. They have not used the word relative in public company. What can we conclude in this? So that means money received from director's relative in ABC Limited will be a dash. Please spell it up. No deposit. The Bheshwari, no depository. What are you saying? Intercorporate. Riddhi is saying intercorporate. What intercorporate are you talking about? Director hai, company nahi hai. Director is a person, individual who has given us no. Why did you say intercompany? KMP for intercompany. Okay, Hardik is the first one to give the correct answer. Yes, ma'am, it will be a deposit. And those who are giving something else, please understand what I'm saying. I think you did not. Okay, Pallavi, that's correct. I think many of you did not understand what I asked. Public company receives any money from the director is not a deposit. Fair enough. Private company, it says, receives the money from a director or relative of the director is not a deposit. So in case of public company, they have used only the word director. They have not used the word relative. So if money received, very good. Now you have understood. So money received from the relative of a director of public company is a deposit. Very good. Nice. So now you have understood. Everyone has given the correct answer. So well done. So first part of the point is clear to everyone. So it talks about, please underline in your notes, in your ICAI module, keep underlining what I'm telling you, each and everything. So amount received at the time he was a director or his relative of a private company. And in case of public company, you will read only the word director is written. I will show you in the module also. What two conditions needs to be fulfilled? Number one condition in this case is, at the time of giving the money, director or relative has given a declaration in writing to the company that this money has not been given out of the funds acquired by borrowing or accepting loan from others, and company has disclosed the details of such money in the board's report. Ma'am, what have you said? We did not understand. Let me explain you. So there is a director, Mr. A. There is a director, Mr. A, and there is a company, PQR Limited. Now, my first question is, this director, Mr. A, gave money or loan of rupees 10,000 to PQR Limited. Is it a deposit? Yes or no? Good. Everyone says, no, ma'am, it is not a deposit. Great. Now, when it will not be considered as deposit, two conditions have to be fulfilled. Now, listen to the conditions carefully. Number one is Mr. A will give a declaration that this 10,000 rupees that I'm giving as a loan to you, PQR Limited, I have not borrowed it from someone. If Mr. A has borrowed, taken a loan from another person and then giving company this loan, then it will be a deposit. So he has to give a declaration in writing that the funds which I'm giving you, money that I'm giving you, it is my own money. I have not acquired it by borrowing or taking loan from others. And there is a condition, and company has to disclose these details of the money accepted in the board's report. Company makes a report of the board of directors. Board's report is made. In that board report, loan from directors has to be written that this is the amount of loan which we have taken from the directors, and also the declaration in writing will be taken that this money is his own money. He has not borrowed it for giving loan to the company. Only if these two conditions are satisfied, then only the amount received from a director of a public company is not a deposit. Amount received from a director or relative of a private company is not a deposit. So amount received from a relative of a public company is a deposit. Because it is not written over here, that's why. Yes, the Meshwari owned money means my own money. I am earning it. I have not borrowed it. So he's asking what is the meaning of owned money? Owned money means you do business, you get money, you're earning that money. And second thing is you went to the bank, you took a loan of 10,000, then you gave loan to PQR Limited being a director, then it is borrowed money. So owned money means that you have earned, okay? If director borrowed money, yes. Then also, then it will be considered as deposit. Lahiri Moruju, that's correct. Ashutosh Good, the money that I have earned is correct. Everyone clear on this directors once? Everyone? Okay. Now, before we move ahead, because it becomes little complicated when we go little ahead. So let us flip through the pages of study material also so that you know where we are actually. So this is what we have done so far. We have understood the overview of the chapter. This is the definition that we are discussing. And all these points as a way of deposit, loan, any other thing is a deposit. See how beautifully study material has prescribed all the points for you so that it becomes very, very easy for you. Secured, unsecured. These are 2 points which we have not covered. Let me read it from here. It may be accepted in joint names not exceeding 3. So there can be joint people, but not more than 3 who are giving the deposits. So there is A, B, C. They have together given the deposit to the company, but not more than 3 people. The joint names not exceeding 3. So joint people can also give the acceptance. They will be treated as 1%, but not more than 3. A depository may nominate any person at any time. So depositor can also nominate. So depositor means a person who is giving the deposits. Okay, either members or public, they can also give the name of nomination, nominate any other person at any time. Deposit shall be repaid with interest. Oh, I told you, children, this is a kind of loan. It has to be repaid. You cannot keep the deposits forever with the company. This is the public or members' money that you have to repay. Can we repay premature repayment of deposit can be done? Yes or no? Please tell me, children. If I have taken the deposit for 6 months, can I repay it in 4 months or 3 months? Yes or no? Yes, Nistala, it's correct. Joa, Praveen, all the points are correct. Bibi, Aisha, all those who are writing over here, all the points are correct. Can we have premature repayment? Can I repay it? Yes, we can do it because, yes, somebody saying yes, I guess yes. So you don't have to guess. It's written over here in the 9th point that premature repayment is possible. So if you're repaying it before the time, company can do that as well. Private company can accept the deposits only from members. Is it true and false? Yes, ma'am, it's true because private company cannot accept the deposits from the public, and public company can accept the deposits from members and public both, provided it is in an eligible public company. Government wala point, see how beautifully study has broken down the points for you. You don't even have to think how to learn it. They have made summarized notes for you. See, you are also lucky. At our time, we were not having such comprehensive material. Now you have everything lined up over here. Okay. So you simply have to just go through these points. Keep marking down in your study material also whatever explanations I'm giving you. So export credit agencies, the word foreign, you can see, I told you the hidden thing, foreign word will be written, simply mark it. It is not deposit. FEMA is applicable. Simple. Again, all these banking companies, state banking, new banking companies acquisition. Corresponding new bank means the notified banking institutions, NABARD and all. I give the example. Okay, all these agriculture banks, cooperative banks, Bharat cooperative banks, or any other corresponding new banks. Say there is a company, bank, then a corresponding bank to that company, that any amount received from them also, it will not be considered as deposit. Any public financial institution, insurance company, the word insurance company is specifically written. So if examiner asks you, a company ABC Limited has taken the loan or financial assistance from LIC or from a scheduled bank, will it be considered as deposit? You will say no. Okay, because public financial institutions, regional financial institutions means any particular states in which you are residing, financial institutions of those regions, insurance companies, scheduled banks, all this is not considered as a deposit because it is the business of banks now to give loans and monies. Why are you considering as deposits? Amount received against the issue of commercial paper or any other instruments, as we have done. All these points we have done, mainly known as intercompany deposits. ICD has their own provisions. So 60 days, 15 days point is also clear. I was looking for some examples over here that we can do. So examples will be coming up after point number 9. Director or relative of the private company word has been used as required to furnish your writing. So children, please mark it over here. In case of public company, the word only director has been used. In case of public company, the word director of the company means public and private company. And in case of the relative, word has only been used specifically for the private company. Okay. Okay, this is the clarification. Director of the company or relative of the director of the private company. So this is the clarification where it is given. Now, 9th point, let me just take 9th and 9th A from here only. Any amount raised by issue of bonds and debentures secured by first charge or a charge ranking pari passu with the first charge. So first, let us understand what is the meaning of this word first charge and the meaning of the word pari passu with the first charge. What is the meaning of this word? So any loan that I'm taking, say for example, I have taken 2 loans against my car. This is my car, and against this car, I have taken 2 loans, one from ICICI Bank and another loan I have taken from HDFC or SBI, any other bank. So I've taken first loan from ICICI Bank and I have given my car as a security. And from HDFC also I took a loan and I have given this car as a security. Now, what happens when you have given your security? I told you in the beginning of the session, if I'll not repay the money, bank will sell my car and they will recover the money. Now, if we see it apparently, if I fail to pay the money, who has the right on my car first? You tell me. ICICI Bank will first redeem its money or HDFC Bank? It says first charge has been created. So ICICI Bank is the correct answer. All of you have given the correct answer because first charge has been created against ICICI Bank. So they will use my car and sell it and dispose of and take the money. But law says if I have given the loan from HDFC Bank and I have said secured by pari passu. Pari passu means on equal footing. Please write down pari passu means on equal footing means as the similar to the first charge, same rights and obligations. HDFC Bank will also give the same rights. Equal footing means as it was my first charge, ranking pari passu with the first charge to any asset. So similar kind of charge will be given to HDFC Bank also, means both the banks can recover the same money in the ratio of the loan that they have given by selling off my car and recovering their money. So that is the meaning of pari passu. Pari passu means the first charge is equivalent, the second charge is equivalent to the first charge. It is on the equal footing. Clear? The word pari passu and first charge is clear. Now let us understand what does it say. Now amount has been raised. Now here we are talking about the bonds and debentures. Debentures is also kind of a loan, you know. Company is issuing the debentures and then some security has been given in exchange of those debentures. And while giving the security, they have created either a first charge or pari passu charge with the first charge on any assets. What are the assets? Assets given under Schedule 3 contains the format of the balance sheet. It is written over here. Excluding intangible assets, very important point. Intangible assets are not included over here. What is the meaning of intangible assets? something which cannot be seen or touched. So only tangible assets, plant and machinery, buildings, or car, scooter, bikes, all these kind of things, the assets of the company can be given as a security. You cannot give your goodwill or other kind of things. Okay, you cannot give other kind of things as a security. If security is not sufficient to prevent, then what to do, ma'am? Lahari Moruju, if the security has to be always more than the amount of the loan that I have taken, I already told you this point. So it is presumed that there was a sufficient amount. The car is of the value of say 8 to 10 lakhs, and the loan maybe was for 3 lakhs. One has taken of 4 lakhs. In case it happens that it is not sufficient for both, then as per the proportion, the bank will decide how the money has to be claimed from both of them. But at the same time, you can claim it. What is the meaning of first charge and pari passu? At the same time, you will dispose and give the money. So bonds and debentures, the company has issued the bonds and debentures by giving a security. What kind of security we have given? Tangible assets. Second point is bonds and debentures are compulsorily convertible into shares of the company within 10 years. So the bonds and debentures that the company is issuing, if they are to be converted into equity shares within 10 years, then it is not a deposit. Say, for example, there is a bond and debenture that ABC Limited has issued, and within 8 years, these are convertible bonds and debentures. Within 8 years, it will be converted into equity shares. Then you will consider it as a deposit, yes or no? Jaldi batao. Will you be considering it as a deposit? It will not be considered as deposit. Good. And please keep writing down these small examples that I'm telling you. You can just keep writing down, marking these examples because this give you the conceptual clarity. Now, if company amount has been raised by issuing bonds and debentures which are compulsorily convertible into shares in 12 years, will it be considered as a deposit? Yes or no? So I've reversed the question. Yes. Good. Ashutosh, Anirudh, Dilip, Tambeshwari, Pallavi, Nayan. Nayan is saying no. Why? Sai Charan, Niketana. Okay. NLS Ravani is saying pari pasu again. I will explain you. Don't worry. Okay, first let me complete this point. There is the share application revision also we want, and bond and debenture samjha dijiye ma'am Anirudh. So bonds and debentures are kind of, beta you have done debenture section 72, okay? I refer to your section 72 debentures chapters. There you have understood what are debentures. It is a kind of debt evidencing money that you have borrowed, evidencing a debt that has to be repaid. So it is also kind of a borrowing that you have taken. For this borrowing, company is giving a security. What kind of security? Tangible assets. If you have issued the bonds and debentures on which the first charge and pari passu charge has been made for the assets that you have given, so tomorrow if you fail to repay the money, your assets that you have given having the first charge or pari passu, that charge is already with the bank, and now I have taken the money from you and I'm giving you pari passu charge. So both bank and you have the same charge, same rights to recover the money from my assets. Intangible assets are not included. Bonds and debentures which are compulsory convertible, 100% clear हो गया. Less than 10 years है, so it is not a deposit. More than 10 years है, then it will be a deposit. If the bonds and debentures are secured by the charge of assets, refer to this, excluding intangible, the amount of bonds and debentures shall not exceed the market value of the assets as assessed by the registered value. So the amount of bond means the value of security. In brief, you can write down the value of security shall always be more than value of security shall always be more than the amount of bonds and debentures. Then only you can recover the money, na child. So the value of security shall always be more than the amount of bonds and debentures. And who will find this value of secured assets? Who will find it? The registered valuer. The registered valuer will find the valuation. The registered valuer will do the valuation. These are the assets that the company is giving as a security, and this amount shall always be more than the bonds and debentures. It's a little heavy, I understand. So I give you break for 5 minutes. Please read down till point number 8. We will restart after the break from point number 8. Let's take a small break here. All right, welcome back, students. So, what have we discussed till now? The eighth point that we were doing. Yes, Pallavi, the chart should not be on the intangible assets. Okay. Let us have few more clarifications for the first 2 points. But before that, let me just finish off with the third point of point 8 also. So amount referred, we just discussed that bonds and debentures which are issued as a first charge or the ranking pari passu charge. So what is the condition? The conditions for issuing the bonds and debentures is, first of all, the security that you're giving should be a tangible asset. So if it is an unsecured or intangible asset had been given, then it will be considered as a deposit. So first condition is that it shall be a security and tangible assets have to be given, and the value of security shall be more than the value of security shall be more than the amount of the bonds and debentures issued. It shall be more than the bonds and debentures issued. And who will do this valuation? Registered valuer will do the valuation. And now the third point, that there should be a first charge or pari passu charge. What is the meaning of first charge or pari passu? Let me just explain you once again. Say, for example, you have taken a loan of 1 lakh rupees, and also there are debenture holders. Debentures have been issued of 2 lakh rupees. So now there is a security of the card that you have given for loan also and for the debenture holders also. Now say, for example, you took the loan first. So when the bank, you do not repay the loan, the bank is going to sell the car because the bank is having the first charge. But the debenture holders are either having first charge. So for example, we have given the first charge to the debenture holders, so they will get the right and they will sell off the car and they get their money. Or they have been given the first charge or the charge of the pari passu charge. Now that means at the same time, both of them, they have to be given the money. You cannot say that the first bank's loan will be repaid from the car and then the right of the debenture holders will occur and after that they will be given the money. No. Pari passu means equal footing. Both of them will get the right. Loan will also be repaid. Debenture holders will also be given the money. At the same time, from the same security, money has to be given, provided the value of security has to be more than the bonds and debentures that you have issued, and security shall be of tangible assets, and it is a first charge or pari passu charge, then it will not be considered as deposit. This amount of money that you have received for the bonds and debentures, it will not be considered as the deposits. Then second point we have discussed is that the debentures or bonds shall be compulsorily convertible into the shares. So if they are non-convertible shares and debentures, now the question comes is, if there are debentures and bonds that you have issued as the non-convertible, if it is a non-convertible share and debenture, then what will you say? Then is it a deposit or not a deposit? Yes, Vidushi, 50-50 distribution, if you're asking, as per the ratio on which the money has to be paid. Okay? Absolutely correct. Then it will be considered as a deposit. Okay, but there is a twist in this also. As of now, Sahi Charan say not a deposit. So Queer says not a deposit because you have read the third point. That's why you're saying. If the value of bonds is more than the value of asset. Yes, Sanya, then it will not be considered as deposit. The value of bonds and debentures. Yes, if the value of bonds and debentures is more than the value of assets, means the security is not fulfilling the value of bonds, then it will be considered as deposits. Absolutely correct, Sanya. And even if it is unsecured, then also it will be deposit. Even if it is non-convertible, let me explain you first. Even if it is not convertible, but first let us understand the third point. Amount raised by non-convertible debentures, non-secured debentures, non-secured debentures, but they are listed on the recognized stock exchange, then it will not be considered as a deposit. This is the twist that I wanted to explain you. If you are issuing the bonds, and firstly, it says it should be a secured bond and debenture, secured against tangible assets, first charge of paripa, so that is fine. So it obviously means if it is unsecured, then it is a deposit. But if it is unsecured, it is not convertible and it is listed, then it is not a deposit. Means if it is unsecured and it is non-convertible and it is unlisted, then what will you call it? Then what will you call it? Then you will call it a deposit. Then you will call it a deposit. Absolutely correct. Everyone has correctly understood. So if it is non-convertible, non-secured, but it is listed, because here it is covered under the third point, amount issued by non-convertible, not constituting a charge and listed on a recognized stock exchange as per the SEBI guidelines, means either on the Bombay or National Stock Exchange if it is listed, but it is not convertible, non-secured, but it is a listed debenture, then it is not a deposit. If it is compulsory convertible into shares and debentures within 10 years, then it is not a deposit. If you are issuing by first or pari passu charge for the tangible assets, the valuation has been done by the registered valuer, then it is not a deposit. ठीक है ना? Amount of bonds and debentures shall not exceed the market value, means the market value of the assets shall be more than the amount of bonds and debentures. If the value of bonds and debentures is more than the market value, then it will be considered as deposits. Intangible assets are excluded. That is another point that you have to remember. So everyone is clear. So if I tell you that there are bonds and debentures which are compulsorily convertible into the shares of the company within 20 years, will it be considered as a deposit or it will not be considered as deposit? Okay, Lahari, we'll be going in the study material also. I'm anyways going to take you for the question also. Hardik says deposit. Anirudh said not a deposit. Dilip says deposit. Ashutosh says not a deposit. Why are you confused, children? If it is a bond and debentures which is compulsorily convertible within 10 years, then it is not a deposit. I said 20 years, then it is a deposit. More than 10 years, any time if you're taking, it will be considered as deposit. Okay. Okay. So this is your point number 9 that we have done. And this is your 9A, that is amount raised by issue of non-convertible. Which point are you asking, Lahari Maruju? Somebody has asked a point on page number 5.5. Point number 7 in study material. Any amount received towards subscription. We have not yet come on this point. Have we come on this point? Have we done this point? 7th point, you're asking about the share application money. Okay, we have already done this point. What you have not understood, Maruju, please ask that point to me. Share application money. We'll just repeat all the points once we are done with all these points. I will give you a quick revision of all these points. Let me first complete once. Okay. So amount raised by non-convertible debentures not secured, listed on the recognized stock exchange, then it is not a deposit. So Surya Limited has raised 20 lakhs. Now you'll not see the answers, children. Let us do the illustrations. Just listen to me what I'm trying to tell you. Surya Limited has raised 20 lakh through issue of non-convertible debentures, 20,000 non-convertible debentures of rupees 100 each, and not constituting a charge on these assets. So, ma'am, you told us it shall be convertible within 10 years. This is non-convertible. Also, you told us there shall be a security. This is not having a security. But I told you if it is not convertible, non-security, but it is listed. Whether it is listed, we have to see the third condition. These are listed on the stock exchange. The said amount will not be considered as a deposit as per subclause 9A. Is it correct or not? It shall not be a deposit or it shall be a deposit? Okay, good. It shall not be considered as deposit. Why? Because it is non-convertible, it is non-secured, but it is listed, then it will not be a deposit. Manvi says it shall be deposit. No, Manvi, you're wrong. Others, everyone is correct. It is not a deposit. Why did you say, Manvi, that it will be deposit? Because it's non-convertible and non-secured. Yeah, now you're correct. Okay. Now let's move to another very, very interesting point. 10th point, amount received from
any employee of the company not exceeding his annual salary under the contract of employment in the nature of non-interest bearing security deposit. What is the meaning of security deposit? Sometimes employees have to give the certain amount as a security deposit that, okay, tomorrow I'll be the director of your company. I will not leave your company. I'm giving a certain amount of security deposit to the company. Now, this amount that the deposit amount that we are receiving from the employee shall not be more than his annual salary. So what does it say is, let us break up again into two different points. If the amount received is less than annual salary, annual AS I'm using for the, let me just write it down, annual salary of employee, then it is not a deposit. You will write down this point in your study material. If amount received is more than the annual salary, then what shall come? If amount received is more than the annual salary of employee, then it shall be considered as deposit. All right. So it says, and also this amount shall be non-interest bearing, means you're not paying any interest on this amount. This is also very important. Non-interest bearing, then not a deposit. If it is interest bearing, then my dear students, what will be it? Then it will be a deposit. You will never forget if you'll write these small points along with all the points written over here. You will never ever forget it. Because then it becomes very easy for you to remember and to learn also, because every law is all about understanding the concept. Learning to hai hai, but when you do the learning after understanding, everything is in your pocket. Then the ball is in your court. You can easily do it and you can crack your exam. Let us read it once again from the provision. Amount received from employee. First of all, he shall be employee of the company. Point number one. Not exceeding means the amount shall be less than his annual salary. Third point, under the contract of employment, not just as a person, he is giving the amount because he is employee under the contract of employment. Fourth point, non-interest bearing. Fifth point, as a security deposit, he is giving this money to you. Then it is not a deposit. Ratnakar was appointed as a supervisor by Siddhi Transporters and Logistics on an annual salary of rupees 6 lakh. He was required to deposit a sum of 6,50,000 with the company as security deposit on which no interest was payable to him. So, ma'am, we are receiving the money from employee. Yes, ma'am. Under the contract of employment. Yes, ma'am. As a security deposit. Yes, ma'am. Not interest bearing. Yes, ma'am. But what is the fifth point? Is it exceeding the annual salary? Yes, ma'am, it is exceeding. Only if the amount is not exceeding, then it is not a deposit. So here the amount received from Ratnakar under the contract of employment, although it was not interest bearing, will be considered as a deposit because the amount is more than his annual salary. What my students have to refer? Just the notes that we wrote, more than the annual salary, then it is a deposit. Less than the annual salary, it is not a deposit. It is not interest bearing, then it is a deposit. Not deposit, interest bearing, then it is a deposit. Amount non-interest bearing received has been limited to 6 lakh, it would not be considered. If the same amount would have been 5,80,000, then will it be a deposit or not a deposit? Tell me. If the amount was 5,80,000, then it will not be a deposit. Okay. Now listen. Okay, good. Correct answer. If the amount was 5,80,000 and the company was to pay interest on this amount, will it be considered as not a deposit or it will be considered as deposit? Intelligent students, huh? They have understood. Excellent, all of you. Around 80 students in the class and 70 of them have answered it correctly. Beautiful. Very nice. What about the students over here in the portal with us? Okay, good. Joa, Ratika, Panamurugan, Nancy. It will not be considered. Good. Joa Praveen, Nancy Hingu, Ritika, Nistala, all of you are answering it correctly. Good, children, good. All right. So employee contract of employment point is also clear. Now let's move to another point. Interest bearing amount received and held in trust. So any amount which we are receiving or paying to the trust also, which is not interest bearing, it will not be considered as deposit. So ABC Limited Company receives any amount which is being held as a trust. There is no interest to be paid on it. It is a not amount of deposit. It will not be considered as deposit. Now, 12th point is again little tricky, which you all have to understand very, very carefully. Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Ashutosh is saying, Mami teaches wonderfully. That's why we get it easy. Good. I'm glad. All right. Any amount received in the course of business. Now, what happens in during the course of business, many a times we receive. Now, all these points A to F are related to the course of business. How we are receiving these amounts during the course of business. Any amount received in the course of business as an advance money. So you went to buy certain things, goods and services from the market, you pay certain advance money. Or even before goods and services, say for example, you're planning to buy a house for yourself. Okay. So any immovable property, the land and building is an immovable property, right? House cannot be moved from one place to another, right? So it is an immovable property. So if any house that you're going to buy for yourself and you have given certain token money, say for example, around 10 lakh rupees. The house is for 1 crore, you have given 10 lakh rupees and balance 90 lakh is pending to be paid. Now, if 10 lakh rupees has been given, now when you go, you'll be paying the balance amount. Okay, now this kind of advances are being kind of adjustments that we're doing against the final payment. These kind of monies are not considered as deposits. Or say, for example, you have given 1 lakh rupees for the goods and services to be supplied to you in future. And within 365 days, these goods and services are supplied to you, then this amount of advance will not be considered as deposit. Yes, token money is a down payment. Very good, approved. So all these kind of advances, now we are going to understand what kind of advance money that we have received during the course of business, whether it is a deposit or it is not a deposit. So number one, any advance money that you have received in any manner, provided this advance is used for the supply of goods and services within 365 days. So there is a company ABC Limited that supply goods and services, say for example, sale of table and chair. And we have received the advance of 1 lakh rupees from the customer. Now, within 365 days, we have to supply these goods and services, that is furniture, to them. Then only this advance money will not be considered as deposit. However, in case of any advance which is subject matter of legal proceedings, what is the meaning of legal proceedings? Where any fight is going on, legal proceedings are going on in the court, then this period of 365 days limit will not apply. Then you can ignore this period of 365 days, because when legal proceedings are going, fights are going on, maybe some money needs to be paid more, maybe the furniture was not of good quality, some fraud has been committed, now court case is going on, then you can ignore this limit of 365. Okay, then maybe it took more longer time for the legal proceedings to subside and then you supplied the goods, then 365 days will not be considered. Otherwise, any advance money that you have taken for the supply of goods and services within 365 days, if you're supplying the goods, then this advance money is not considered as deposit. Clear? First point. Advance accounted in any manner received in connection with the immovable property. So you are purchasing immovable property, you have given any advance money, you just wrote token money down payment. Under such advance adjusted against the property according to the terms of the agreement. So our terms of agreement was that either this money will be paid back, you are paying full money, or this money will be adjusted, whatever the arrangement we have made. So this advance money given for the immovable property will not be considered as the deposit. Okay. Lahari, we just gave an example of this one, that for example, you are supplying the goods and services and with 365 days, you say for example, on future date, you're going to get the goods and you're making the payment today, advance money that you. So within 365 days of the advance money, the goods have to be supplied to you. So now another is the immovable property. So now we have to supply the advance money for the immovable property. Next is the security deposit for the performance of contract for supply of goods and services. Now, any security deposit, there is a contract arrangement with you that we have made this agreement that tomorrow I will be performing this contract for you, and for that you have given a security deposit. Security deposit means a certain kind of security you have deposited that fine, okay, I'm giving you this money today, please go do the construction of the house for me tomorrow. So any kind of these security deposits that you have given for performance of the contract, either for supplying of the services, that means you're going to do certain service for me, or you will be supplying of goods, then it will not be considered as deposit. Point number A, we were giving for the advance for the supply of goods and services within 365 days. And here we are giving the security deposits for the performing of the contract. Another example you can take for 365 days is, for example, on 1st of January 2022, you have taken this advance money. So now 365 days means 31st December 2022. Within these days, the goods shall be supplied to you. If you're supplying it beyond 365 days, then this advance will be considered as a deposit. This is what the condition of 365 days tells. Any security deposit which you have taken for the supply of services and goods, then also it will not be deposit. Advance given for the long-term project for supply of capital goods, except those covered under item B. So it says immovable property is covered, but any other advance which is given for long-term projects, then also it will not be considered as deposits. So for long-term projects that you have decided, like we were just telling you, for the construction of infrastructures, houses, buildings, you're going to supply the capital goods, any advance money you have given for that, then this will not be considered as deposit. Any advance for consideration for providing future services. Now, this is something which is very, very interesting. Future services, kind of annual maintenance contracts, AMC contracts, or warranty services that you're planning to give. So you have purchased a washing machinery and you have given the advance money to the supplier that, okay, for next 3 years, I'm paying you the advance money, and you have given me the annual maintenance contract that you will be providing me the services. Or maybe for the warranty, that the 3 years, the warranty, I've paid you the advance for that, that this is now in the warranty period, as and when required, you will give me the services for this thing. Now, if such kind of advances have been paid for annual maintenance contracts or warranties or written agreements, then it will not be considered as deposit, provided there is a condition over here. Provided this service will not exceed the period as per the common business practice, or 5 years, whichever is less. So I took this machinery from you and you gave me the warranty period, which is a common business practice, that for 3 years I've taken the advance. Now 3 years or 5 years, whichever is less. So what is less? 3 years. So for 3 years, if I'm taking this money, this will not be considered as deposit. Is that clear? Point number B. Okay, don't worry. We will be doing all these points. Baba Sahib, yes, these kind of securities will not be considered as deposit. Okay. Any kind of securities that you have given for these kind of agreements, for long-term projects, for immovable property, will not be considered as deposits. And point number B, somebody was asking, we are Niketana. Point number B is typically trying to tell you, for the immovable property, I went to the market to purchase a house for myself. I gave certain advance money, token money. Now that advance money that I've given to the company for this immovable property, that is not deposit. Okay, that is not a borrowing that they have, because they're going to give me the property after a certain period of time. Okay, when I have full money. I don't have full money today, I'm just giving you certain advance. Or I'm giving you certain security deposits. For the long-term projects, I'm giving you advance money. Future mein aapne projects karne hain, I'm giving you advance money. These are not deposits. All right. So AMC and warranty point is clear to all of you. What is the condition for annual maintenance points and maintenance contract and warranty? That either the time period which is as per the common business practice, say for example 3 years or 4 years, whatever time you want to take, or 5 years, whichever is less. So if it is 10 years, no company gives you warranty for 10 years or 8 years. It is generally for 2 years or 3 years only, or 4 years maximum. So whatever the business practice is, the number of years or 5 years, whichever is less, for that period, that advance will not be considered as deposit. Any advance received or allowed as any sectorial regulator or according to the directions of central and state government. So as per, like, for example, any government directions you have given got any advance. So what you have to remember is the word sectorial regulator over here. So any sectors, any government sectors are providing you the money, that will also not be considered as deposits. So advance received as security regulator or according to the direction of central and state government, that is not deposit. And any advance received for subscription towards publication. So you're going to publish any books and papers and you have received any advance money for subscribing to those publications, whether it is in physical printouts or in the electronic modes, and that amount has to be adjusted against the receipt. When you receive such publications, that advance money will be adjusted. So any amount paid for the subscription of the publications and magazines or newspapers, any kind of publications, you're giving any advance money for that, that will also not be considered as deposits. Okay. All right. So what are these 5 points? What are these 8 points under the heading of advances received in the course of business? Let's have a quick recap of these advances. Number one, what is the condition? Any advance money which the company has received for the supply of goods and services will not be considered as deposit, provided what? What is the condition for the first point, children? Please answer me. Within how many days the goods have to be supplied of accepting the advances? I told you the example also, 365 days. Very good, correct answer. And if I have not supplied you the goods in 365 days, I supplied you the goods in 400 days, then this advance will be considered as a, then this advance will be considered as a deposit. Good, good, good. All of you have correctly answered it. Good. Then deposit means all the provisions of section 73 to 76 will become applicable to this month. And if there is any legal proceedings between the supplier and the client, then 365 days have to be considered, yes or no? Not apply. Good. Any advance which I have taken, received for consideration of immovable property. Tomorrow I am going to sell you the immovable property and I have taken the advance money for that. Will it be considered as deposit, yes or no? Wonderful. No is the correct answer. It will not be considered as deposit. Good. Any security deposit I have received for performing the contract for either supplying the goods and services, then also it is not a deposit. If I am receiving the advance for doing long-term projects for supply of capital goods, then also it is not a deposit. As advance towards consideration for providing future services in the form of warranty or maintenance contract as per written agreements. So my next question to my class is, if I have paid an advance money, and that advance money has been given for the maintenance contract and the validity of the contract is for 6 years or 5 years, whichever is less. So what will be the time period that you will be considering for which it will not be considered as deposit? ठीक है, सबको समझ आ गया. Everyone has given the correct answer. For 5 years, because whichever is less, 6 years or 5 years, whichever is less. So 5 years is less. So 5 years, this deposit, this amount of advance will not be considered as deposit. Yes, Hardik, you want to ask something?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am,
evening.
ma'am, one small doubt. Ma'am, in point number D, as the advance received under the long-term project for supply of capital goods, except those covered in point B, this means that if we are providing immovable property by
Okay, I'll
furnishing
tell you.
furnished immovable property, then it is not a deposit.
Yes, because it's saying the point number B, we have already specifically covered for those immovable property over there. So here we are talking anything apart from that. So any advance which you're receiving for supply of capital goods, because that is also immovable property, no? That's why they have given you this point exclusively, alag se, for point number D.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So now everyone is clear. And this F point I told you, sectorial regulator or directions of central and state government, as it is, you have to remember any government authorities are giving you advance, it is not considered. And any subscription for the publications you have received, it will not be considered as advance. Ma'am, in short, every advance is a form of not deposit. Yes, Marujo says, in short, we can say that any advance is not a deposit. So you cannot say any advance because so many restrictions and clarifications they have given you, child. So these A to G category of advances is not a deposit, provided whatever condition they have told you is specified. Okay. Yes, Nandeshwari, beyond 365 days, it will be considered as a deposit. Now, another condition, pay attention, please, all of you. This is again another very important point. All the items covered under A, B, and D. So, what was A, B, and D? Quickly tell me. A was supplying of goods and services in 365 days. B was immovable property advance for immovable property. And D was the point that Hardik just asked me for the supply of capital goods, long-term project supply of capital goods is point number D. If against A, B, and D, any advance has been received and it becomes refundable, why it become refundable, ma'am? Reasons that the company accepting the money does not have the necessary permission or approval which was required to deal in goods and services. Now, certain kind of problem has occurred. I have taken the money as an advance from you. I was supposed to supply you furniture and other things, electronic items, but certain permissions have not been given to me by the government. There has been some problem in my business. I cannot give you this kind of goods, or I cannot give you this kind of immovable property, or I cannot do the long-term projects for supply of capital goods. Then this amount becomes refundable. I have to repay this advance to you, right? If you have given certain advance money to someone for buying the house, if he's not selling you the house, obviously he will refund you the advance. Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. Definitely he will refund the money. Absolutely correct. Now, if you fail to refund this money within 15 days from which it becomes refundable, on the expiry of 15 days, it shall be considered as deposit. Where did you study with me today about this 15 days? Have we discussed about these 15 days earlier also? Did we talk about these 15 days provision? Yes or no? Where did we talk? Yes is fine. You all have written yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. You have to tell me where. Repay of money. Which repay of money? Allotment refund. Okay. Yes, ma'am, in share application form. Good. Neeru, Hardik, Sanya, Rachna, Sai Charan, Pranav, Pooja, Vidushi, Niketna. Excellent. Good students, very good students. So within 60 days, you had to allot the security, or within the next 15 days, you have to refund the money. What will happen if you do not refund the money? It will be treated as deposit. Similarly, under A, B, and D, if any problem has occurred due to which you cannot supply the goods and now you need to refund the money, again, same provision within 15 days, if you will not refund the money, then that amount shall be treated as deposits. Is that clear, children? Absolutely clear. Then that amount will become deposits. Let us move to my presentation also for a while. I have started taking from here only. Yeah. Okay, so I'll show you the provisions that we have just covered. So these advances, all the points have been beautifully underlined for you, bolded for you, so that you don't have to rush here and there during exam days. Advance for money, advance for immovable property, security deposit point, all these points have been highlighted. For consideration of future services, AMCs, annual contracts, security regulator, and publication, everything is covered, and this is expiry of 15 days wala point. Now let's move to the promoter of the company. Who is the promoter of company, children? You know who are directors, who are the promoters of company? I'm asking you. I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, I've asked you a question. Who is the promoter of a company? Okay, you're giving me section 2, clause 69, Shruti Kumari. You have to tell me who is the promoter, one who starts the company. Major shareholder, takes the promotional activity, early stage, person who has the idea of making the company. So all those basically karta dharta of the company, somebody who is founding the company, who has started the company, the promoter of a company. So say, for example, Rati Milani, one of our students sitting over here, Rati Milani is the promoter of the company that she's going to form. Now, Rati Milani goes to bank and asks for the loan for the company. So bank says, I will give you the loan only, Rati Milani, if you also invest in the company. You're asking the loan from me, Yes, who has control over the affairs of company. Very good. All those who are giving the answers, absolutely correct. Now listen to me. So there is Mr. A, who is promoter of the company ABC Limited, and Mr. A went to the bank that I want loan for my company. Bank said, I will give you the loan only if you also invest similar kind of amount in your company. So it says, now this promoter, Mr. A, Rati Milani was the promoter in our example. Rati Milani also have to give the loan, unsecured loan to the company. Then only the lending institutions will give the loan to the company. Then such kind of unsecured loan that Rati Milani has given to the company, that will not be considered as deposit. What are the conditions to be satisfied? Let us understand by writing the example in front of you over here. So there is a company ABC Limited, and the loan taken from promoter Mr. A, and it is unsecured loan. It is not a deposit. When it is not a deposit, three conditions to be satisfied in order to make it not a deposit. Number one, the loan has been taken because of the stipulation imposed by the lending institution on the promoters to contribute such finance. For number one condition is, this condition of giving loan to the company was imposed by the bank or lending institutions. Means the bank only, na? The bank institutions which are lending you money. Lending institutions. So this condition of giving loan to the company, that who said this thing to the promoter? The bank said that you have to give the money to the company, then only we will give you the money, the loan. And who has to give this money? Loan is given by promoter or his, please tell me, loan is given by promoters or his relative. What is the meaning of relative? What is the meaning of relative? Please tell me the definition of relative. You have done the chapter preliminary with me only. Don't give me sections. Tell me who is a relative. Mother, father, yes, brother, sister, spouse. Single words you're telling me. Only that? Son, daughter, KMP. Pallavi Jha, what are you writing KMP? I'm asking who is a relative. You're saying KMPs. So KMP is key managerial persona. Refer to your chapters of preliminary children. Keep revising. Wife, son, daughter, brother, sister, father, mother, spouse, step brother, sister. You forgot all that definition. Refer to his definition. So loan is given by the promoters or his relatives or both. So all these people that we have revised in the definition of relative, the loan is given either by promoters or his relative, and this loan has been given because the bank has imposed the condition of giving the loan. Then this will not be considered as deposit till the date this loan is repaid. Till the date this loan is repaid, and this loan will be repaid the same time when the loans from the banks or financial institutions are repaid. This loan will be repaid when loan from bank is repaid. So these are the conditions to be fulfilled. Then only it will not be considered as a deposits. So what are the conditions? Promoter is giving the loan, promoter or his relative is giving the loan. What kind of loan? Unsecured loan. Why they are giving this loan? Because the lending institution said that you give money to your company, then only first you take the risk. You are asking me to give money to your company. Why you not investing the money? You give loan to your company first, then I will give the money. And this money is being given by promoter or his relatives. And this loan has to be repaid. When the loan of the bank is repaid, this money of promoter is also given back. Then this kind of loan will not be considered as a deposit. Clear? Everyone clear upon this? And definition of relative, please, you all should remember. Yes, NLS Ravani, absolutely correct. These 7 are the relatives as per law. Yes, absolutely correct. So all this definition, why you have to learn? Because examiner can give you, promoter or his brother has given the loan. So you need to remember who was a relative. So they will give you very simple only. Don't worry. Promoter in itself is a very big word if you remember. So the definition has been written relative. So it is important that you should know who is a relative also. Okay. So any amount accepted by Nidhi company. Now, what is this Nidhi company? Nidhi company's business is to take money from people. So why will you call it deposits? So Nidhi company taking any money, it is not considered as deposits. By way of chit funds, by way of subscriptions, any money has been received. So any company and money received by Nidhi company, provisions of deposits are not applicable. Any money received in a chit fund act for the chit funds by way of subscriptions, it will not be considered as deposits. Any money received under collective investment schemes complying with the regulations claimed by SEBI, then it is also not considered as the deposit. So simply learn them: collective investment schemes and subscriptions by way of chit funds and amount accepted by the Nidhi company. All these are not considered to be the deposits. Yes, these all Lakshmi chit fund and all these kind of things will not be considered as deposits. Absolutely correct. All right. Now let's move to another point. There is one important point left over here. Yes. Before we do point number 16, because it's again a little tricky, let me just finish off with point number 17. Amount received by the company from alternative investment funds. So this is very, very interesting, children. You have been investing in the mutual funds, shares. You have been listening to all these stories nowadays that investments are very good. So any amount received by a company from alternate investment funds, domestic venture capital funds, infrastructure investment trust, real estate investment trust, and mutual funds registered with SEBI, any amount which we are receiving from these kind of funds, any amount received will not be considered as deposits. Why it is not considered as deposit, ma'am? Because let's understand the example of mutual funds. So you give your mutual, you're giving your money to someone and they're further investing your money. Now, alternate investment funds means the company takes your money and they invest it in the alternate funds. Mutual funds means you have given your money and they're investing your money. So whatever money the company is receiving from the mutual funds, that will not be considered as deposits. Domestic venture capital funds, again, a very high risk funds they're investing. The growth and the risk is very high, although returns will also be very high. But again, these kind of new ventures that you have started, venture capital funds, here if the company is taking money from you and investing it in for the funds, that will not be considered as deposit. Infrastructure investment trust. So you cannot go and invest in the big infrastructures. You cannot go and invest in the big real estate. So you give the money to the company and the company is further giving you money for such kind of investments. All these monies that are received by the company from these kind of trusts will not be, yes, Sanil, like mutual fund, absolutely correct. So all these mutual funds, real estates, domestic venture capital funds, infrastructure investment trusts, alternate investment funds will not be considered as deposits. Simply remember in your mind when you invest to the mutual funds and the company given the money and the mutual funds are further investing in the company. So you have invested, given the money to the Axis mutual fund. Now Axis mutual fund has invested your money in certain company. So the company is receiving the funds from the Axis mutual fund. So that is not a deposit. This is what they're trying to explain you. If you'll keep one transaction in mind, other just you have to remember the words alternate investment, infrastructure investments, real estate investments, domestic venture capital funds are the risky ones. The new ventures that they have started, the growth is very high, the risk is high, but the amount of return will also be good in this kind of funds. Is that clear? These amounts are not considered as deposits. And now I want to do point number 16 with you. All the eyes and ears here, you have to listen it to it very clearly. Amount has been given. There is an amount of rupees 25 lakhs or more received by a startup company by the way of convertible note. And what is the startup company and what is the meaning of convertible note? They have itself given you the definition. Convertible note means converted into equity shares. Either this note will be converted into equity shares or it will be repayable within the period of 10 years from the date of issue in a single tranche from a person. What is the meaning of this single tranche? Tranche means single transaction. Means startup company. Number one, there is a startup company. What is a startup company? It is a private company which has been recognized as a startup by Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade, DPIIT department. That is, there is a Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. That department says that, yes, this private company is a startup company. That company is known as a startup company. So number one condition is we are talking about a startup company. It is a private company which has been called startup company by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Now, this startup company has received 25 lakhs or more in a single transaction. In a single transaction means in a single transaction. So there is a startup company ABC Limited. There is a startup company ABC Limited. It receives 30 lakh rupees as a loan from a person, and it is a startup company. Then will it be considered as a deposit? I've just spoken about the first condition. If I just talk about the first condition, then yes, it is not a deposit. Okay. But what has to be seen? This company takes a loan and issues convertible note in exchange for that. They have taken the money, and what are they issuing? They're issuing a convertible note. Convertible note is an instrument evidencing the receipt of money as a debt. Means मैंने उधार लिया है पैसा. Debt means उधार. Convertible note is an instrument which shows debt, where the option of the holder has been given to either convert it into the equity shares on the happening of certain events as and may be agreed. These convertible notes are either repaid or they are converted into equity shares on the happening of certain events. So what are the conditions? Let us quickly write down the conditions. Number one, it shall be a startup company. Who is a startup company? Startup company is a private company which has been declared by DPIIT, that is private company as called by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, startup company. What is the amount? The amount received is 25 lakhs or more. Absolutely clear. Amount shall be received in a single transaction. So if I am receiving 10 lakh today and 15 lakh tomorrow, will I be considered not a deposit? Will I fall into this category? No, ma'am, we will not fall into this category. Very good. Then it will be a deposit. We are Niketna. Then it will be a deposit because yes, good. Correct. You have corrected it. So if I'm receiving 10 lakhs today and 20 lakhs tomorrow, so it will be considered as deposit. But together, if I have received 25 lakhs or more, and I'm a startup company and I'm issuing a convertible note in exchange of that, then this amount will not be considered as a deposit. Convertible note means a note evidencing debt. It is a debt which is either repaid or converted. It is repaid in 10 years. It is repaid in 10 years. So the provision of 10 years is same as earlier. Or converted into equity shares. Converted into equity on happening of as per the agreement. Okay, na? As per the agreement. Say, for example, the agreement says that when the startup company reaches the revenue of 10 crore, then the shares will be converted. Then when it reaches the revenue of 10 crore, then it will be converted. Whatever is the terms of the agreement, they shall be converted into equity shares, or this convertible note is repaid. All right. So what are the conditions for the 16 point? Number one, you shall be receiving amount. You're a startup company. Who is a startup company? DPIIT recognized them as a startup company. 25 lakhs or more is the limit of the amount that you have received as a deposit. In exchange of that deposit, the company is giving a convertible note. That is a note which is a debt which is either repaid in 10 years or it will be converted into equity shares as per the terms of agreement. And also this amount has been received in a single transaction, not in a breakup. Then this amount will not be considered as deposit. All right. So we have done the definition of deposit, a very exhaustive list of all the items, 17 items of all the things which are not considered as deposit. Now we are going to take up certain questions from the module, and 5 important questions I'm going to do with you regarding this topic of deposits definition only, so that in the next session when we meet, we are starting with section 7. So let's take a small break here. Just go through all the provisions, make sure that you have understood everything, and I'll take your doubts also. Let's take a small break and then we'll proceed further. So we are taking a break here. So I've gone through the chat box. I could not find any queries so far. So I hope everything is clear to all of you. So this is the question that I want to do with you. Greenwood Limited. Let's quickly read it out. Greenwood Limited, which is registered as startup registration. So what is the meaning of startup? Quickly tell me. Yes, Joa Praveen. Then if you're receiving the first 25 lakhs and the second time also receive more than that, then it will be considered covered under the conditions. Yes, Moruju, we can read the messages from the portal also, and I can get your messages on both the sides. Ritika Gupta, that's correct. Okay. So what is a startup company? Have you given me the answers quickly as per the DPIIT that you have been incorporated and informed? That's great. So which is registered as startup has received an amount of 20 lakh and 10 lakh on different dates. So will it be covered under the exemption? Yes or no? Definitely not, because you should have received 25 lakhs in a single transaction, and then only you fall under the sub clause 17. Okay. So this is clear to all of you. And let me just see if anything has been left. Clarification regarding the amount received from the private companies or relatives have been clarified. Amount received by private companies before shall not be treated provided the relevant information has been disclosed in the notes of financial statement. So any amount received from the private companies before 1st April 2014, they have given a clarification that it is not deposit provided they have disclosed this amount as the notes to the financial statements. Okay. Now, who is a depositor? Such a cute picture Institute has shown you. Can you see the piggy bank? You're depositing the money. So who is a depositor? This girl is a depositor who is depositing, collecting her money, and she's putting it in the piggy bank. So she's the depositor. So depositor is the person actually who is giving money to the company from whom we are taking the deposits. Yes, Hardik, if it is 25 lakhs at the same time and then 10 lakh, then it will, then for the 25 lakhs amount, it will not be considered as a deposit, and the other 10 lakh that you're taking, that will be considered as deposit. Correct, Tambeshwari, giving money. Depositor is the person who is giving money. Any member of the company who has made a deposit according to the provisions of Section 73. So Section 73 tells you that we are taking the deposit from the members. Who can take the deposits from the members? Public company or private company? Jaldi batao. Who can take the deposits from the members? Both is the correct answer. Who can take the deposits from the public? Any person who has taken the deposit from the public company as per Section 76. Which public company? Eligible public company can take the deposits from public. Good. We have laid down the foundation for the next class very nicely. Section 73 and 76 is just the provisions that we have to do now. So any public and private company who has taken the deposits is called a depositor. And any person who has deposited is also called a depositor. So depositor is the person who is giving the money. Let's do a small definition of eligible company. Then I'll take you to the question answers. Eligible company means a company which has been, let me just open it from my notes only. Sorry. So these are the questions that we have to do before we end the class. So this is the definition of depositors. Where is my eligible company? Oops. Okay. The eligible company is a public company which is having a net worth of not less than 100 crores or the turnover of not less than 500 crores. So what is the provision that we have to remember? Eligible company is a public company. First of all, eligible company, we are talking about whom? We are talking about a public company. What is the limit of the paid up share cap? What is the limit of net worth? Net worth shall be more than or equal to 100 crores. And your or is the condition over here, or the turnover is not less than 500 crores means turnover shall be more than or equal to 500 crores. So if your turnover is more than 500 crores or your net worth is more than 100 crores, then you become an eligible public company. And why we are discussing the definition of eligible public company? Because eligible public company is the company which can accept the deposits from the outsiders as well as from the members as well as from the outsiders. So it says that eligible public company having a turnover of not less than 500 crores or net worth of not less than 100 crores, and they have taken the prior consent of the shareholders. They have taken the consent of the shareholders by passing special resolution. It says, which has obtained the prior consent in general meeting by means of special resolution, and such special resolution has been filed with the ROC before making any invitation to the public for acceptance of deposits. So they have taken the consent of special resolution of the shareholders, and also this special resolutions has been filed with ROC. Then only they can invite the deposits from the public. So this is the definition of eligible public company. Number one, you're a public company, your net worth is more than or equal to 100 crores or your turnover is more than or equal to 500 crores, and you have taken the consent from the shareholders by passing a special resolution, and that special resolution has been filed with ROC. Then only this company can accept the deposits from the public. However, eligible company accepting the deposits within the limits of section 180 subsection 1 subsection C. So there is a limit which is given under section 180 subsection 1 subsection C. If you are accepting the deposits within that limit, then you can do it by passing an ordinary resolution. Otherwise, you have to meet all these criteria, having a net worth of minimum 100 crores, a turnover of 500 crores, prior consent. So very beautifully, they have explained you all these points. So this chart has to be learned by you till the next class, that these are the specific conditions that you have to remember who is an eligible company. So we have quickly done two definitions also, definition of depositor and definition of your eligible public company. Now let me do certain questions with you. As promised, we are going to do very important questions. Number one question in front of you on the screen is, answer the following citing relevant provisions of the Companies Act. Wire Electricals Limited, having a paid up share capital of 1 crore, availed a term loan of 10 lakhs from ABC Bank Limited to purchase electrical items. Mr. Tar, one of the directors of the company, is of the opinion that this amount shall be considered as deposit. Is his contention correct? So there is a company having a paid up capital of 1 crore. This company has taken a term loan of 10 lakhs from ABC Bank Limited to purchase electrical items. Will it be considered as deposit? Yes or no means his contention, you have to tell him that whether it is a deposit or not, it is not a deposit. Absolutely correct. Many of you have already given the correct answer. So how will you write it? In terms of rule 2(1)(c). So 2(1)(c) yaad rakh lena, 3, 4, 5, 6, even if you don't remember, then it's okay. Even if you give the, in terms of rule 2 of the company's acceptance of deposit rules, then also it is beautiful. So 2(1)(c), if possible, try to remember rule 2(1)(c), under which the provisions, things which are not received as deposit are given. So any amount received as a loan or facility, so this is the third point that we have done, from any banking company will not be considered as deposit. Therefore, his contention of treating it as deposit is not correct. Second part of this question relates to section 76 that we have not done till now, so we cannot cover it. Let us cover this question number 2. RS Limited received share application money of rupees 50 lakhs on 1st June. Bhavna Garg is saying yes, deposit because turnover is more than 500 crore. Beta, if turnover is more than, turnover is first of all not given over here, paid up capital is given. It is just to confuse you. The only thing over here has to be seen is that the loan has been taken from ABC Bank. So ABC Bank Limited. So if bank's name has been given, so any loans taken from the bank or other financial institutions will not be considered as deposit. Okay. RS Limited received share application money of 50 lakhs on 1st June 2019, but failed to allot the shares within the time period. So within how many time period they should have allotted? Within 60 days. That is 1st June, 30th July, 60 days they should have allotted. The share application money of 5 lakh received from Mr. Khanna was refunded by way of book adjustment towards the dues payable to him on 30th July. Company secretary says that the entire amount shall deem to be deposits on 31st July, and the company is required to comply with the provisions applicable to the deposits. Please tell the validity of the reporting of the company secretary in light of the provisions of the Companies Act. Now, here two questions you have to answer me. First, tell me honestly that on 1st June, if you have received the application money, within 60 days, allotment of shares should have been done. So the first part of the answer will relate to the allotment of securities. So that is something which you all have correctly answered. By 30th July, the allotment of securities should have been done. And if it is not allotted, then what should have been done? If the allotment of securities is not done, then what you should have done? You should have refunded the amount within next 15 days. So after 30th July, 60 days are over. Now next 15 days, by 15th of August, you should have refunded this money. Have we refunded the money to Mr. Khanna? What have we done? They said they have made a book adjustment towards the dues payable to him. Remember, I showed you in the topic this point. Any adjustment for the amount of refund that you are doing shall not be treated as refund. Remember point number 6, share application money. This you all remember, 60 days, 15 days is fine. I told you we have a question on this. Any adjustment of the amount will, so will you treat it as a refund? He is giving it as a book adjustment for the dues which were, so absolutely correct. All of you have written correctly. No, ma'am, it will not be treated as refund. So what is exact answer that we have to write? This is how you have to present your answer. Number 1, you'll write according to rule 21C, entire thing that you just discussed with me, that this is the application money has to be allotted, and if the amount has not been allotted within 15 days, has to be refunded. Absolutely like this, you have to write down. And also last line, that it is clarified, any adjustment done will not be refunded. This is the provisions of the act. Then you have to write the facts of the case. What are the facts of the case? In the given question, RS has received itna share application money, it failed to allot, then this money has been given as a way of adjustment. Now we are writing the conclusion. In light of the above facts and provisions, number 1, you have to explain them that this should have been done. Otherwise, after lapse of 15 days, the amount not refunded will be treated as deposit. Therefore, you cannot say that on 31st July you did. So you have to understand what the examiner is asking. You're right by saying that if it is not refunded in 15 days, then it will be treated as deposit. Company secretary is calling it as deposit on 31st July only. So that contention is wrong. You have to give 15 days time. Na? So maybe in 15 days they will refund it. So you cannot call it that this amount will be called as deposit on 31st July only. You will write down that it has to be 15 days time period has to be given. If on 15 days it has not been returned, then from 76th day, yes, you will be calling it as deposit. Clear? Then second, it is asking any adjustment for the amount will not be treated as refund. Therefore, since the amount has been adjusted, therefore it will not be treated as refund. Is that clear to all of you? I hope this question is absolutely clear to all of you. One more question we will do. Promoters of Green Limited contributed in the form of unsecured loan to the company in order to fulfill the margin money requirements stipulated by State Industries Development Corporation, SIDCL, for providing granting loan. In light of the provisions, please tell us whether this unsecured loan will be treated as deposit or not. Tell me. I'm asking about question number 3, whether this amount which has been contributed in the form of unsecured loan, whether this amount will be treated as deposit or not deposit. Balamurugan, Joya, Ritika, Nancy, all of you have given the correct answers. Good. So please tell me for this one also whether it will be considered as a deposit or not. What is the answer? If 25 lakh, why are you talking about 25 lakh? Why? Okay. Good. Promoters of Green Limited contributed in the form of unsecured loan, children. So you all have correctly mentioned the answer. Let me just clarify to you. It is not a deposit provided 3 conditions are satisfied. The child who has written Sanya, very good. You have written the word subject to 3 conditions, and others have also written not deposit. That's absolutely correct. Kasak, I don't know what you're writing about 25 lakhs. This is not related to 25 lakhs point. Now listen to the answer. So any unsecured loan, if you have taken from the promoter or his relative, this was the stipulation condition given by the lending bank. The loan has been given by the promoter. Such exemption will be available till the loan is repaid. Therefore, this unsecured loan will not be treated as deposit, as the unsecured was bought because of the stipulation of this bank, and the loan is given by the promoters themselves. Therefore, it is not considered as the word promoter in itself is giving you the hint that what should be the correct answer. All right. So question number 4 is little detailed question, which I want to do with you in the next class. So I hope we have done largely what we have decided to do. Any doubts? We have 5 minutes left. Anyone wants to ask any doubts? Okay, welcome, NLS Shravani. Thank you. You're saying welcome, beta. Second question, please tell once again, Tambeshwari, what have you not understood in the second question? So the second question, child, it is typically asking you about the share application money. Within 60 days of receiving the share application money, allotment of securities have to be done. If securities are not allotted, in next 15 days, money has to be refunded. So here the money was not refunded. On 60th day only, the company secretary called it the deposit. The law says this is not correct. You have to give them 15 more days. And if they return it, if they do not return it next 15 days, then it will be treated as deposit. And the second part of the question was, it's fine, Kasar. I'm glad you found your mistake. So that's good. So Tambeshwari, the second part of the question was that whether I will treat it as the refund. So it said that no, I will not treat it as a refund because they were doing the adjustment of the other dues which are payable to him. Refund means I have received your money and I'm giving it back to you because I've not allotted the securities. But in that question, they were doing some adjustment of the amount which was to be paid to him. So law clearly says that you cannot adjust those amounts. So it will not be treated as a refund unless you give the money specifically back to him. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you, Hardik. Thank you, Neeru. I'm glad you enjoyed the session. That's great. So I hope there are no doubts. All right. Good. Thank you then. Thank you, Baba Saheb. Thank you, children. So your homework is that you have to revise and try to learn all these provisions that we have done in today's class. Okay. Thank you, Tambeshwari. Thank you, Rachna. Thank you, children. All right. So let's meet on the next class day after tomorrow. We'll be starting with section 73 and we'll finish it off till section 76A. And also there are certain more questions that we'll be discussing. All right. Thank you, Bhumika. Praveen has a question. Yes, Praveen, I have already answered this earlier also for you. So pari passu charge, if both the people exactly find that you have written the ratio, whatever ratio that you have borrowed the loan, both of them will be capable of taking that right from the card that you have given as a security. Okay, good. All right. Yes, we will discuss the limit of 181C in the next class. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Maruju. All right. Take care. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, children. God bless you all and see you soon. All right, sir. Students don't have any queries, so I'm ending the session. Thank you.